Welcome back to Brandon's Garage and Renovations. I'm working here in my 2014 Dodge Grand Caravan. I'm going to change brakes as well as struts. So I'm going to start by removing this bolt and this bolt. To remove the caliper, I'm just changing brake pads. I'm not changing the rotors. So that's a fairly simple process if you don't screw it up. All right, here I go. I've got the caliper off. You can see it's got two pistons in it. That's what holds the brake pads in place, as well as applies pressure. These brake pads should just be able to slide out. And then I'm going to replace the hardware as well, so that's going to come out. It just pops out with a little bit of help. And this one as well as the back side. I'll get after that. Okay, my next step is to loosen this thing because I don't want to damage it in the process. It's just a bunch of rubberized things that are fitted in place. They're just going to slide out a couple of places, as well as at the back here. Just gives me a little bit of room to play with the strut. So the sway bar link here, I'm going to keep the sway bar link, so I'm not replacing it. I'm going to put a socket on that. Oh, I should have mentioned for the brakes, it was a 13 mil socket. I think it's something similar for the sway bar link. I'll update if I know better. Using channel locks on the backside to support the... Okay, that was an 18 mil socket, not a 13, so my apologies on that. So there's the sway bar link again. I'm going to keep using it. I'm just going to tap it with a hammer to get it out. That's popped out, and it'll move off to the side for now so that I can get after the strut. On the strut, I'm going after that and that. And on this side, actually it's on this side that I have to start, because these are the nuts. And I believe that's a 21. Probably should spray it with some penetrating solution first, which I will do. Let it sit for a minute. The other thing I can do in the meantime is remove this harness that I will need to put on the new strut for this. I believe it's a speedometer wire or something like that. This is a 10 mil socket or 10 mil wrench to take that off with. So that's what I'll get after here. Useful thing there was the impact wrench. It really took a lot for it to finally get it to spin a little. Then I stuck the socket on it to finish the job. Now I'm just gonna take my hammer and tap on this. Okay, that was more than a tap. Same thing with the bottom one, and then we'll take it topside and I'll show you what needs to be done there. Okay, so I've already done the other side, but I watched another video where it told you to take the windshield wipers off, and quite frankly that was more of a pain in the butt than I was willing to do. So there's a clip here and a clip on the other side. I used some pliers to just pinch it at the bottom and push it up. It was pretty simple little plastic clip. These are the three bolts that are nuts and bolts that are holding the top of the strut in place. So I'm going to loosen those to finger tighten, and then I'll get down and be able to support it on the bottom while I'm loosening the last one. So the first one I'm going to take fully out is the back one, because that's the most difficult to get at. Yeah. As you can see, I'm just using some leftover lumber I have around to separate this this up. Again, that's a 13 mil socket. It's tight squeeze on the right side, so this is my setup to try and get it. And I'm going to leave the easiest one for last, so that I can also access that while I'm supporting the strut. Okay, so all the top bolts are out. Oh, there we go. There it fell. Ouch. There's the old strut. So then basically it's everything in reverse. Gonna go get the new strut, make sure it matches up on the other side. I already know it matches up, so I'm good there. Yeah, it's a good idea to probably clean this off a little bit. I've got a wire brush that I'm going to do that with. And we'll go by it step by step. Just got a couple threads tight on it up here, so I'll tighten it a little more, but the full tighten will happen after the jack is seated. It's no longer on the jacks and it's on its own weight. Then I'm going to fit this in the bracket. I think I'm probably going to have to move the wheel slightly to get it up and in, and then those pins go back in it. This side you can see that I just have to move this into place for the strut. I've got it hand tightened up top, and again the full tighten will come once it's off the jack and sitting on its own weight. If you saw in that time lapse, I had to stick my socket on that side and use my my ratchet, power ratchet, to suck that on. I'm going to torque it in a little bit here to 65 foot-pounds with my torque wrench, and we'll go from there. The next step after that you'll see in my time lapse is reattaching the sway bar, which I had a little bit of trouble with last time. Might do some prying to try and get it in place. This was a two-person job to pry down the sway bar to be able to attach the nut. With some help, I got that sway bar link reattached. Now's the easy stuff, the brakes. So I'd already, when I cleaned out part of the suspension there, I had a wire brush, and I was also cleaning out these channels on the clamp for the piston. I'm going to grease, well, first of all, I'm going to put new hardware in here, and then I'm going to grease it both front and back, just where the brake pads are touching the bracket, not the rotor itself. Yeah, the new hardware just snaps in place, and with a little bit of help, and hopefully this goes smoothly. So I got these brakes again online. I think this was from Rock Auto. I don't really love these the hardware on this. These little wire things bend really easily and would get in the way of me getting that brake on. I had turned the wheel for a better view at the brakes, but then I had to turn it back to get the strut in place, and not being able to see that back brake pad was a pain in the butt, so that took me a lot longer than it should have. Next step is to get that caliper on. You see there's two pistons. I'm going to use a C-clamp to cinch those up so that they fit over the brake pad, and then redo the screws for that. Okay, I've got the tire back on and it jacked down, and now I'm going to give these a final tighten before I put back together this panel. There's a couple clips if I've taken it off the windshield. I'm not sure if I have, to kind of get it back in place, and then I should be good to go. All right. Thanks for watching. Things I've learned are definitely a ratchet strap's a good idea. Or not ratchet strap, pardon me. A ratchet wrench, a power wrench. Make sure that righty-tighty, lefty-loosey when you need to, because I had to replace one of the brake caliper pins because I had over-tightened it the wrong way and twisted it right off. Make sure you order the right brake pads. I had ordered the wrong ones apparently, so double check all that. This has been a full day of work. As you well know by now, I'm a do-it-yourselfer, so this is the first time for me, but I learn something new every time. All right, if you like the video, share if you might, and we'll see you next time.